All right, welcome back to the Truth Channel. This week's gonna be really just kind of laid back. I'm just gonna tell you the story of when I went to Egypt and went to the pyramids. So I'm gonna try and start doing like stories every 3 or 4 weeks or so, just kind of break it up, because I can tell you guys all about God and like who He is, what His Word says, but also I think there's something huge in showing how He's been real in my life. So every story I'm gonna tell, they're fun, they're exciting, they're interesting, but also they have an element of God moving in them. So today we're gonna talk about when I was in Egypt and we went to the pyramids. If you're listening on the podcast, sorry, you're gonna miss out on some visuals because I'm gonna throw them in the video. But with that being said, if you haven't checked out the YouTube channel, you should go to the YouTube channel, because then you can watch this story kind of play out, because I do have a lot of pictures and video from that day, which are going to be showing throughout the video. So yeah, I was in Egypt for, like a week with my Bible school, and a lot of people, when they ask me about that school, they're like, oh, like, what was your favorite place? And I think a lot of people expect me to say Egypt, and I usually do. But what a lot of people don't know is that Egypt was actually really hard for me, just like spiritually. I was just really in a weird mental space. We were just jumping into the Old Testament for the first time, and that was all new to me. So I was really struggling in Egypt. Like, it was just a hard week. This day, though, when we went to the pyramids, it was our day off, and our leaders took us. They arranged all the camel rides and all this stuff, and it was awesome. So yes, this is one of my favorite days on my Bible school and one of the coolest experiences I've had, because Egypt was never a place I thought that God would take me in my life. Egypt seemed so foreign. Like, I'm so grateful that I got to go. So obviously, Egypt is a really cool place, and my school was just like so excited. Like, we were waiting for the day when we got to go to the pyramids, and we were like, no shame, we're gonna take tons of pictures. I even had like my white Egypt camel pants. Like, I had planned it out, okay? So I was ready for this day. The whole week we had been in Egypt, it was kind of gloomy. It wasn't that hot. Turns out the night before we're supposed to go to the pyramids, it starts raining so hard. Like, the people that live there were like, we haven't seen this much rain in like 4 years, and we were like, oh my gosh, what? And actually the place that we were staying flooded, and then we like went outside to the streets. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen. Like, or they don't have like sewer systems there, or like water, I don't even know what you would call that, sewer systems. They don't have that there because it just never rains, and I didn't even think about this. And so people, like, the streets were just like mini rivers of water, and it was all dirt, so it was just mud, and people were just like abandoning their cars in the middle of the street and walking. So there was just hundreds of people walking down the road, just like different worlds. I would have never thought about like how important sewer systems are, but they are. And so that was the night before the camels. So we wake up the next morning and they're like, oh yeah, it's probably gonna be raining, and we were like, what are the odds? The 1 week we're in Egypt, like our whole lives probably, it's raining. Like, that never happens. And so we were just kind of like, our whole school was kind of bummed, and we were just like, oh, these camel pics might not happen. I was like, well, what about my white pants? These white pants that I brought just for camel pics, like, they're gonna get muddy and gross and I won't be able to wear them. But we still decided to go, and I was like, okay, like, we're gonna make the best of it. Still gonna wear the white pants. Who cares if they get dirty, whatever. We take 2 vans to the pyramids, and I think they're like 45 minutes to an hour away. I don't know, it was a little bit of a drive. But my whole school piles into these 2 vans, and we're driving. All of a sudden, because the roads I don't even know if it was because of the night before, like, I don't know what happened, but one of the vans just broke down in the middle of the road, and we were like, oh my gosh, like.
Well, we make it to the pyramids.
It's not like America where you can just like call up AAA and be like, yo, help, you're stuck. So we're sitting on the side of the road in Egypt. And another thing is, like, the roads in Egypt are not like clean cut, like, here's this lane, here's a pull-off lane. No, like, we're just sitting in the middle of the road, and cars are just weaving around us honking. People are pissed. About like 30 minutes later, they're like, okay, we're gonna bring another van to you guys. And we're like, cool. So we're sitting there waiting, and then the other van shows up, and so half my school's like walking along this side of the road. And so at this point, we're just all praying. Like, my whole school's just praying that it's like, come on, like, let it be sunny, God, please, please, please. We want, like, to have fun at the pyramids. We want cool camel pics. We want cool pyramid pics. We don't want to be wet and muddy in these pictures. And so we were just praying, like, God, please, like, let it be sunny, let it be sunny. And, you know, we're driving, and it's not looking too hopeful. The sky's still gloomy. It's a little drizzly out. And we're like, all right, whatever. And so we wait that hour after the bus breaks down, and we're back on the road. And we get there, and we pull up. Kid you not. We pull up to the pyramids, and one thing I'll say is, like, it's kind of weird. Like, the pyramids are, like, here, but then, like, all around it is, like, city. So, like, you're driving on the road, and you're like, oh, there's the pyramids. Like, it's just, like, the weirdest thing ever. But we pull up to the spot. We pull up to the pyramids, and we look at the sky, and it's, like, a clear, distinct line of, like, blue skies coming in, rain, clouds, and they're going away. And it's just like, you can see the sun start to peek out the second we arrive. And my school's like, just like the coolest thing ever to see God move in that way. Like, he knew that we wanted a sunny day and a nice day in Egypt. And then we pull up, and, like, you know, if we wouldn't have had our bus breakdown and had to have waited an hour, by the time we got there, it would have probably still been cloudy and gross. But no, we had to wait an hour on the side of the road, and we pull up, and that's right in time for all the clouds to just move. And I'm not even kidding, like, it was such a blue day. I don't know if you can see these pictures, you probably can't, but the skies were so blue. It was so nice, and it wasn't too hot because it had been raining, and it was the coolest thing ever. And I don't know, some of you might be like, oh, it's just a coincidence, but I choose to acknowledge that as God, because I believe he's creator of everything, and I believe he hears our prayers. So that was awesome. We actually started climbing the pyramids. So yes, everybody says that. They're like, are you gonna climb the pyramids, blah, blah, blah. You can't climb the pyramids, I heard it's illegal. We got, like, a good couple, like, blocks up, and then we got the whistle blown at us. They were like, get down, and we're like, ah. So we did get to climb a little bit of the pyramids. It was kind of funny. But from there, then we went to the camel rides, and it was super nice because our instructors, like, organized everything. This whole trip, actually, they pretty much organized everything. And so, like, we didn't have to try and, like, book a reservation or anything, and they got us there. They did everything for us. So I won't have any tips for you guys on, like, how to travel Egypt, because especially Egypt was the place where they did everything for us, which was super nice. So we just pulled up, and they're like, yep, go get on a camel. I had my nice camera, and I was like, you know, I was a little hesitant about taking it onto the sand and, like, on the camel. I had never really taken my camera anywhere risque like that. But I was like, I'm doing it. Like, this is the one time I'm probably going to get to go to Egypt and get these pictures. And I bought this camera for a reason. And so I had my camera, and we, like, bought our headscarves. This is mine. Gotta do it. You're in Egypt. Only in Egypt once. So bought the headscarf. It wasn't that expensive. And then they, like, put it on for you. And it was actually so scary getting on the camel because they're just massive, like, way bigger than I thought. And also, they're not like a horse where it's, like, a comfortable seat and the horse kind of, like, walks evenly. Like, the camels are, like, boom, like, they're so rocky. So I'm sitting there, like, trying to hold on, but also trying to, like, take a picture and take videos. And
It's kind of miserable.
I just remember being like, oh my gosh, this is kind of miserable. Like, I literally said that in one of my videos. The other crazy thing was, like, it was so, not unorganized, but just, like, very interesting the way they ran the camels. Like, they would have, like, 3 camels kind of strung together, and then one person leading them, and the person that led ours was an 8-year-old boy. So we just have this 8-year-old boy, like, leading us on camels casually through the desert, and I'm like, what? And then, like, if a camel started to go out of line, they just, like, yell at it, and I'm like, this little 8-year-old boy's guiding you through the Egyptian desert. Like, if one of these camels takes off, what are we gonna do? So that was just kind of funny. I'd never seen anything like that. But then they were really good about understanding that we wanted pictures. So this is probably the riskiest thing I've ever done with my camera. The boy was like, do you guys want pictures? The little 8-year-old boy that was leading us. And I was like, yeah, sure. And he's like, okay, give me your camera. And I was like, okay, I'm about to hand over this very, very, very expensive camera to this 8-year-old boy, and, like, he could just run off with it. He could drop it in the sand. I could drop it off the camel. You know, like, I'm pretty high up, so I'm like, okay, like, please don't drop it. So I press record and I, like, give it to him.
Oh my god. The video's on, you don't have to touch anything.
Give me.
And he's literally running through the sand with my camera. I'm like,
Hey, look at here.
please don't drop it. And he like takes a picture and he's being super funny. He's like, hasta luego. And he's just saying funny stuff. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
See a whiskey. Hasta la vista. Hey, 1, 2, 3. Aloha.
What is happening? And it was just super cute. And then he like ran it back, heart drop at this moment. He acts like he's gonna throw my camera and then he doesn't. And I'm like, and then he's like, ha ha ha, I got you. I'm like, ha ha, no, please give me my camera back. Like, that's terrifying. So he gives me my camera. I'm like, cool, like got some cool pictures hopefully. From the camel rides, then we just like went up to this wall. Oh my gosh. Totally forgot. So there's just like camels and people sitting everywhere. Like I don't understand how people can get like a clean shot of a camel like with nothing in the background, or them with a camel with nothing in the background. Like that's super hard because there's people everywhere. There's camels everywhere, and they kind of like try and keep you away from the camels. So like when I have pictures with camels, like they were like, go, leave. So we're like all in a rush, like trying to quick pose with a camel and then run so they don't get mad at us. So on our way back up to like this area that just kind of like overlooks the pyramids, we were like stopping and taking pictures with the camels, and there's this one camel. I was like, okay, let me pose by it, and I'm posing and it literally comes over and eats my hair, and I'm like, oh my god. And it was, yeah, they were kind of terrifying. I was a little bit scared of the camels because I was like, are they gonna spit on me, or are they gonna eat me? Like, what are they gonna do? They're massive, unpredictable. Like there's a couple pictures where I look like I'm having a great old like super happy bonding with the camel moment. No, I was like terrified, staring in its eyes like, please don't hurt me. Jeez. Something I really appreciated about the people in my school was that they were so willing to take pictures when I asked. Like, something I was super worried about bringing a camera is that I would be the one behind the camera and I would never get to take pictures of like me in these places. And I think if you have a photographer friend, always offer to take pictures of them, because, you know, it's always awkward to ask for pictures of yourself. And that's just something I had to get good at. I'd be like, here, Janet, like, please take this picture of me, or Jen, or whoever it was. And even the boys got so good, especially on Pyramid Day, about just like taking our cameras and taking pictures for us, and they were such good sports about it. I'd be like, Cole, take my camera, and he'd be like, okay, I think it's going, go. And like they were so patient every time, and they'd even like kneel down to get the angles. And so I really appreciated that about everyone on my school. And like, of course, I took pictures of them for them. Like, that was fun for me. I got to kind of practice photography a little bit. Yeah, there was tons of pictures taken that day, of course. And oh yeah, so, you know, I'm like new photographer. I'm like, oh, let's like capture the culture, you know, like cool. So there's this guy in a white robe with a camel, and he's right in front of the pyramids. He has this walking stick. I'm like, oh, that's super cool. Like, it's just like surreal that this is like in front of my eyes. Like, I feel like I only see this in like movies and in pictures and stuff, and like I'm seeing this and I want to take a picture of it. And he sees my camera and he points to it and he's like, take picture. And I'm like, okay, I'll take a picture of you. Like, why? You're never gonna see it. And I was like, oh, he's just being nice. He knows that I want a picture. So I run over there away from my school and he's lined up like perfectly in line with the pyramid. It's like symmetrical. It's the coolest picture ever. And I take the picture, and all of a sudden he starts coming at me. He's like, you pay me. And I was like, no. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. Like, I'm all alone. I don't know how to say no. I don't have any money, and it's only American money. And I'm like, oh my god. And so all of a sudden my schoolmate Cole comes running at me. He's like, Lindsay. And he's like, nope, she's not giving me money. He pulls me away. And I was like, oh my god. First of all, I feel bad because, you know, they need money probably. Second of all, I'm like, oh, that's so embarrassing. Like, how could I have fallen for that? And they're like, Lindsay, never like do anything like that. I'm like, I'm sorry. Like, just wanted a cool picture. Got the picture. It was cool. So yeah, that happened. There's just a lot of instances where people would just like do something for you and then be like, pay me. And you'd be like, oh man. A lot of times I would, just because, you know, I'm blessed with the finances I have. So I can spare couple Egyptian pounds to give. But anyways, that was a funny moment. And then from there we went to the Sphinx. A lot smaller than I would have thought in person. Still cool though. And then from there we headed out to another city in Egypt, which I will probably talk about another day. Overall, that day at the pyramids was so cool. And sometimes I forget, like I think about the day at the pyramids and I'm like, oh yeah, I rode a camel and stuff. And I'm like, no. Remember when God showed up and like totally cleared the skies for you and it wasn't supposed to be sunny that day? And remember how your bus broke down for an hour. Like, I forget all the getting there moments because the only moments I have pictures of are of the camels. But that did happen, and God showed up, and it was so cool, and we had such a great day. Got to ride a camel led by an 8-year-old, so that was fun. And we got those pictures. I'm sure you've seen on my Instagram. If you haven't, you can go follow me at Lindsay_truth_channel. Go check those out. Yeah, that's all I have for you. And there will be more to come.